Emotional intelligence for leaders is critical if you want to build and maintain positive working relationships with people in your team. It allows you to understand others better so you can know what drives them and what keeps them engaged at work. It helps you to grasp team dynamics so you can reduce toxicity in your team. And emotional intelligence helps you to cultivate collaboration and creativity because people feel safe contributing at their optimal level. The World Economic Forum ranks emotional intelligence as one of the top skills needed to excel at work. Many established, experienced leaders have said that their success has been either constrained or amplified by their emotional intelligence. And many workers have said that they've left jobs because of a lack of emotional intelligence in their boss. At the end of the day, emotional intelligence is important in the workplace, and it's incredibly important in leadership. We've established that. So let's backtrack a little and look at what emotional intelligence is exactly. Emotional intelligence is most often defined as the ability to perceive, use, understand, manage, and handle emotions. Psychologist Daniel Goleman, the guru on emotional intelligence, says that it's our capacity to be aware of, to control, and to express emotions. Whichever definition you look at, emotional intelligence seems a little bit cryptic. On the surface, you might think that, yeah, I have emotional intelligence. I can understand my own emotions. I understand other people's emotions. But do you? Because when you dig a little bit deeper, you start to realize that there's a lot more to developing emotional intelligence than you think. I'm Cara Ronan, leadership coach to emerging leaders, and on this channel I share videos every week to help you in your leadership journey on how to build leadership skill, improve your communication skill, and how to be more visible at work. Subscribe to my channel below if you want more content like this every week. The very first place you need to start when you're developing emotional intelligence is with yourself. You need to understand your own emotions and you need to be more self-aware. However, not a lot of people can genuinely do this. Research in the Harvard Business Review shows that 95% of us think that we are self-aware, but only 10 to 15% of us are actually self-aware. So there's this overestimation when it comes to self-awareness, and this can translate into an overestimation about our ability to be emotionally intelligent as well. To help you avoid this, I'm going to share with you an activity that will help you to become more self-aware about your emotions and help you to build emotional intelligence too. This activity is a reflection activity that requires you to think about your interactions with others at work and to identify triggers for different emotions that you might feel. On the screen, you'll see one side that says positive emotions and the other side that says negative emotions. Most of the emotions we feel can be categorized into either positive or negative emotions. For positive emotions, I want you to think about your interactions at work and answer these questions. What are your calm triggers? So what events or situations make you calm? What are your happy triggers? So what events or situations make you happy? What are your fulfillment triggers? So what events or situations make you feel fulfilled? So reflect on your past week at work and your interactions with other people at work and try to identify triggers for each of these positive emotional states. Then you're going to do the exact same thing for negative emotional states. For negative emotions, think about your interactions at work and answer these questions. What are your stress triggers? So what events or situations make you stressed? What are your anger triggers? So what events or situations make you angry? What are your frustration triggers? So what events or situations make you feel frustrated? Through this simple activity, you should have a deeper insight into your own emotions and a deeper awareness and understanding about yourself. This is the very first step in developing emotional intelligence. Let me know in the comments if this activity was helpful for you. Once you have more self-awareness, then you can move on to understanding other people's emotions. Now, this is a little harder to achieve because from the outside, it's very difficult to truly understand how another person feels. You might try to interpret their emotions from the external cues that they show you, like their verbal communication or their nonverbal communication. But the reality is, especially in the workplace, people will show you what they want you to see. So because of this filtering process that goes on, it's very difficult as a leader to truly understand the emotions of someone else. But all is not lost. There are some things you can do to try to understand other people's emotions as best you can. I recommend a 3-step process. First, start by observing people either individually or as a group. Yeah, you're still getting cues only from external actions or behavior. You're still facing a filter where people might not act or behave in an emotionally revealing or in an emotionally honest way. But you've got to start somewhere. So begin by observing. Pick a situation or an event at work, for example, a meeting, and start to observe the people in that group. As you're observing, ask yourself this question: do people display positive or negative emotions overall? This will help you categorize their emotions into positive or negative. If there are mainly positive emotions on display, then which is the overarching positive emotion? If there are mainly negative emotions on display, what is the overarching negative emotion? It could be one of the emotions we talked about in the previous point, or it could be another emotion that you detect. Second, once you have elevated your skill in reading people, then you need to move on to the next step, which is listening. And the key here is to listen with the intention to understand, which means you have to listen without judgment. Judgment clouds our ability to accurately read people or to understand their emotions. It's like a block or a barrier that distorts the way that we see things. If you're truly committed to developing emotional intelligence as a leader, then you need to make sure that you leave judgment at the door. There are a number of opportunities for leaders to listen during one-on-one meetings. This is a great opportunity for you to listen to your employees as a leader. As they talk, you can listen to identify what are their problems, what are their struggles, what have they tried as a solution, what didn't work, what did work, and why didn't it work. Group meetings are another fantastic opportunity for you to listen. As people talk and interact during the group meeting, you can listen to individual team members to really understand what they're saying, and you can read their external cues to further understand their emotions and what they're feeling. If you have any other ideas of opportunities where leaders can listen, write them in the comments below. The third thing you can do to understand someone else's emotions is to ask. So once you have observed them, once you've listened to them, if you still want to know how they're feeling, simply ask them. How do you feel about the progress on this project? How did it make you feel when David took credit for your work? How do you prefer to contribute in meetings? Do you want to contribute in a spontaneous way, or do you want time to prepare? In the majority of cases, your team members will feel heard, understood, and appreciated simply because you ask them how they feel about something. We've covered understanding your own emotions, understanding other people's emotions. Next, you need to know how to react accordingly. And this specifically focuses on managing and handling emotions, as mentioned in the Wikipedia definition of emotional intelligence. What this really means is to be aware of your own emotions, to recognize other people's emotions so you can respond in an appropriate way. Leaders who do respond appropriately build stronger bonds with people in their team, leading to higher levels of job satisfaction, contribution, and engagement at work. Leaders who do not respond appropriately create fractures in their team, leading to dissatisfaction, low or minimal contribution, and very little engagement. I think you can guess which type of leader is more successful in their career and has a better reputation at work, right? For you to react accordingly to be a successful leader and one with high emotional intelligence, it does depend on the specific situation and the people you are with. However, there are some guidelines or some tips that you can follow. Develop person-focused leadership. So this means to build good relationships with people in your team, build trust with them, and show genuine concern for them. Be empathetic, which means to identify the thoughts, the attitudes, and the emotions of another person, basically putting yourself in someone else's shoes. Acknowledge contributions. So whenever people share a good idea, tell them. Address fallbacks or failures in a curious and an empathetic way. So instead of attacking or belittling that person who made the mistake, try to understand why they made the mistake and how it can be fixed in the future. Make sure nobody feels excluded from the group. So work on developing psychological safety with your team and make sure everybody knows the value that they contribute. Understand and address conflict immediately. Don't ignore it, and certainly don't pretend it's not your job. Admit when you're wrong. Leaders can be wrong. Don't try to cover it up or to blame it on someone else. Use genuine body language to appear authentic. I recommend that you use charismatic body language like I talk about in this video up here. Thank you so much for watching this video about building emotional intelligence for leaders. I hope you got a lot of valuable tips and insights so you can apply it to your leadership journey. Thank you so much for watching. If you did like this video, please hit the like button below. Subscribe to my channel as well if you want to see videos like this every week in your feed. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.